Hi, good day. I am Reena Lebanan from Happy Hive Solutions Inc. and I will be discussing basic taxation for professionals today. We only have a few minutes, so basically we're just going to be discussing very basic concepts. So if you have questions or clarifications after this, you can find our details at the end of these slides. There are lots of benefits of filing taxes. The most common usually is using your income tax return for loans or for travel, like applying for visa and other financial transactions. So you just have to pick one, whichever benefit you want to think of, then that's what you hold on to whenever you're filing and paying for your taxes. There are different tax types, so I will discuss them more later after these slides. The income tax, there are two options that I will be discussing. For the withholding tax, I will only be discussing the expanded withholding tax, which is most commonly encountered when you're a professional. And then VAT and or percentage tax. So if you're VATable, then wala ka ng percentage tax. But if you have percentage tax, then usually pag above 3 million, then you should be VATable. Here are income sources for individuals. Usually for compensation, wages for employees, ito. If you are a professional or a freelancer and you have your registration with the BIR only, you don't have any registration with TTI or LGU, then you're a professional. If you are a sole proprietorship and you have registration with the DTI and LGU, then you have a business. If you have at least two of the above mentioned three income sources, then you're a mixed income earner. So here are the income definitions. There's income, the one that you receive in general. You have your gross income. Yun yung parang kabuuang kita. Sum of all wages, salaries, profits, and interest payments. All the things that you receive. Taxable income is what you end up when you deduct any expenses or purchases from your gross income. Yun yung basis for computing yung tax, yung taxable income. Net income is your take-home pay after you pay for your taxes already. So yun yung parang pinaka-pera ninyo na. There are two options I mentioned. This is the first option in computing for your income tax. So this is the graduated income tax rate. As you can see, the higher your net income, the higher your tax rate will be on the right side of the column. So if you have income less than 250 million per year, then wala kayong babayaran. You still have to file, but zero lang yung file ninyo and then you don't have to pay anymore. But more than 250,000, you have to pay the corresponding rate for the income. So how do you end up with your net income? Deductions are based on actual expenses supported by receipts. Now, for doctors, usually professionals, the rule of thumb is kung ano yung feeling ninyo na kaya yung i-justify sa auditor, yun yung i-file ninyo na expenses or purchases. If you like submit a receipt for a stroller and then hindi naman siya ginamit sa profession ninyo, then hindi siya allowable. So there are advantages and disadvantages for itemized deductions. You have more room for flexibility. There's no income tax to be paid when your expenses are higher than your income. But the disadvantage is it's time consuming. Syempre, kailangan mo mag-keep ng receipts for 10 years then. Mag-keep and file, organize ng mga documents and receipts. And then we have our optional standard deduction. So either the two for graduated income tax, the itemized, and the optional standard deduction. This is based on 40% of gross sales or receipts. So for example, you have 1 million gross income for the year. 40% nun yun yung assumed expense natin. So 40% ng 1 million is 400,000. So you end up with 600,000 na net income, which will fall under here. So ito yung magiging computation nyo dyan. There are pros and cons also. It saves you time, hindi na kailangan ng mag-keep ng receipts, hindi nyo kailangan ng CPA to audit accounting records. It's always positive yung income statement nyo. And this is ideal for businesses with low operating expenses kasi aabot sa 40% yung expenses nila, assumed expenses. But the disadvantages are it always shows that you are profitable even if you're really not. So, kunwari nalugi-lugi na yung business mo, kailangan mo pa rin magbayad ng income tax. And then it has higher income tax for the business owner. So there are reminders, only one scheme. So if you choose itemized deduction or optional standard deduction, just one for the whole calendar year. Hindi pwedeng mag-change in the middle of the year. Next year na. If you're non-resident alien engaged in trade or business in the Philippines, you may only offer the itemized deduction scheme. And then ensure that your expenses are included in the BIR's list of deductible expenses. So here are reminders also for deductible expenses. Lahat business-related dapat with supporting documents. Must not be illegal, immoral, and not against policy and order. And the amount deducted must be reasonable. And withholding taxes must have been paid. Kapag dun ka sa graduated income tax rate, you most probably have percentage tax, which is 3% for the business tax imposed on persons who sells good properties or services and whose annual gross sales and or receipts do not exceed 3 million a year. And if you are exempt from VAT. If you want to opt for the second option, which is the income tax rate, individuals earning from self-employment and or practice of profession, pwede dito. If you haven't exceeded 3 million for the year, if hindi ka VAT registered, and if you have signified your intention to elect the 8% income tax rate, pwede ka. So what does this mean? 8% of the gross income. Basically, if 1 million ulit, so 1 million times 0.08, 80,000, diretso. And then you don't have to keep receipts anymore. So there are people who are not eligible to avail of the 8% tax rate for mga employees na purely compensation income earners. Kapag VAT registered ka na, kapag lumampas ka na rin ng 3 million a year, hindi ka na rin pwede. If you're subject to other percentage taxes, if you're a partner of a GPP, and then if you're enjoying income tax exemption, hindi ka na pwede dito sa 8%. These are the methods on how to opt for 8% income tax. I'll just skip it. Just ask us how to do it next time. These are the reminders for deduction. So same with earlier, only one scheme per taxable year. There are benefits, so bakit mo i-opt? You don't have percentage tax anymore. It's just the 8% for everything. Ito na lang talaga yung babayaran mo. It has lower tax rate compared to graduated income tax rate based on gross income. So mas mapaplano mo siya yung tax rate mo. And then you're still allowed for the 250,000. So yung 8% is computed after you breach the 250,000 tax exempt income na. Tapos you don't need to hire an accountant if you really don't want. But if you want a tax compliance officer or if you want someone to still file it for you, then of course it's your prerogative. You don't need to file audited FS. And syempre hindi masyadong mau-audit dahil nga small fry lang, less than 3 million a year lang yung kinikita. And then it saves you time and effort. So you just have to choose which one you wanted to opt for income tax, right? So we're going to move on with the expanded withholding tax. Basically, yung EWT is just an advance of your income tax. So BIR wants to make sure that your income tax is paid even if you're not gonna file and pay it personally. They are mandating companies to withhold a certain portion of your income and then remit it to the BIR. So yung mga na-withholdan na using the BIR Form 2307, better na i-file and magbayad na rin kayo ng tax kasi na-remit na yung partial doon eh. So, might as well have it recorded under your income tax return, yung mga natanggap ninyong BIR Form 2307. Considered as income tax prepayments. Some accountants call this good as cash, yung BIR Form 2307, kasi nga you can automatically deduct yung 2307 from your income tax due when you're filing and paying for your taxes. Income pays sworn declaration of gross receipts and sales. You can use this document para 5% na lang yung i-withhold sa inyo instead of around 10% or more. But it says here na nag-elect kayo ng 8% income tax rate or that you're earning less than 3 million para 5% na lang yung i-deduct sa inyo. Kasi syempre kapag your company kept on withholding 10%, sobra na siya sa 8% na dapat nyo lang bayaran. Here is the value-added tax. Now, if you reach the 3 million per year, sana all, mawawala na yung percentage tax mo. Magkakaroon ka na ng value-added tax, which is 12% indirect tax. So basically, you can pass it on to your clients or to your customers. This is required to file by any person na more than 3 million per year na. Pag any person required to register as VAT taxpayer but failed to register, kahit hindi ka nag-register, pag required ka, kailangan mo pa rin mag-file. And then, any person, whether or not made in the course of his trade or business who imports goods. So, pag important, kailangan ng VAT. And then, SLS/P, summary list of sales and purchases. Ito yung parang listahan ng mga vatable sales and purchases ninyo na dapat i-submit kay BIR. So, here's the link where you can submit it. I-download yung software from BIR and then that's where you encode it. Pag VAT, kailangan nito automatically. So, here is what and when to file. So, nakalagay dito, calendar year. Make sure that you're following the calendar year, not fiscal year. So, pag fiscal year, you can choose any like month or date within the calendar year and then that's the start of your tax filing. Pero usually for professionals, just use the calendar year which starts at January 1 and ends at December 31. Here's the tax type that I mentioned earlier, BIR form, and then yung deadline. If you can see here, my registration fee, when you register, annually, you have to file and pay for the registration fee na 500 using the BIR form 0605 before January 31. So you can only do this from January 1 to January 31 of the year. And then these are annual information returns. So for the EWT, yung annual information return ay 1604E, which is due on January 31. So if medyo unclear or medyo overwhelming yung deadlines or mga BIR forms, just let me know and message me after this. And then you have here the how to read your BIR COR or Certificate of Registration. So this is an example of value-added tax na Certificate of Registration. If you can see here, there are tax types, form types, filing start date, filing frequency, and filing due date. So medyo comprehensive na yung bagong Certificate of Registration ni BIR to help taxpayers file and pay their taxes. So, nandyan na yung mga details. Kailangan lang basahin. Tapos, may mga reminders din sa dulo. Kailangan na lang din basahin kapag nagpa-register ka with the BIR. So, here's the last one, page 3. And then, filing. How and where to file. So, there are two ways. EBIR forms or EFPS or Electronic Filing and Payment System. So, yung EBIR form, software talaga siya that you can access offline. Pero kapag nag-submit kayo ng BIR form, kailangan syempre ng internet connection. For EFPS, browser-based siya na system. But this one, you have to apply if you're not required kasi it's usually only available for top 5,000 individual taxpayers, etc., etc. So, may mga required lang na companies or mga taxpayers ang kailangan gumamit nito. But if you want to use this, then you have to manually apply with the BIR stating why you want to use this already. Tapos, for payments naman, here are the means that you can pay your tax dues. meron ng e-pay or online payment from Land Bank, Land Bank Online, DBP, you can use your credit card pero may mga times na syempre nagda-down yung mga yan. Union Bank, if you have your Union Bank app, you can use that. PesoNet through Land Bank Link Biz Portal. You can use PayMaya or Maya, they rebranded na ngayon. And MyEG, nasa website ni BIR. If you want to do it manually, you can also go to authorized agent banks. Every RDO or Revenue District Office has different authorized agent banks. So you have to check with your RDO kung ano yung authorized agent banks nila. Marami naman dyan. Usually may BPI or may AUB, mga ganon, or CBC. Depende sa RDO. Here are important notes. If you're a sole proprietorship, register your BIR within 30 days after registering with DTI. And then if you registered with BIR, don't forget your manual books of accounts and official receipts. Dapat 30 days then after getting your COR from the BIR. Tapos, syempre, don't miss deadlines, of course. Very, very important. Each and every deadline will amount to each and every penalty and interest and surcharge. So that's what you don't want to happen. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, clarifications, reactions, and comments, please message us happyhiveinc@gmail.com. Those are our numbers. We have also our website, happyhiveinc.com. Follow us on Facebook at Happy Hive Inc. We also have an Instagram page at Happy Hive Inc. Thank you so much. Bye.